Good evening, students. From the second chapter, from the trade to traders, we are coming today that what happened after the Battle of Plassey. After the defeat of at Plassey, Siraj-ud-Dowla was assassinated and Mir Jafar was made the Nawab. The company was still unwilling to take over the responsibility of administration. Its prime objective was to expansion of trade, to do the business more and more inside the country, outside the country. If this could be done without conquest, means no further war. So, through the help of the local rulers who were willing to grant privileges, then territories need not to be taken over directly. Soon the company discovered that this was rather difficult, for even the puppet nawabs were not always as helpful as the company wanted them to be. After all, they had to maintain a basic appearance of dignity and sovereignty if they wanted to respect from their subjects. So dignity started coming up. This led to losing of respect among the nawabs and the local rulers. What could the company do in that case? When did Jafar protested? When Mr. Jafar protested, the company deposed him and installed Mir Qasim in his place. When Mir Qasim complained and went against the British, again there was a war which was known as the Battle of Buxar, which was fought in 1764, in which Mir Qasim was defeated very badly, and again in Bengal Mir Jafar was reinstalled. The Nawab had to pay around 5 lakhs every month, but the company wanted more money for further. More greediness started getting it, and to meet the demands of the trade and its other expenses also, it wanted more territories and more revenue, more expansion, more land, more money they will get by imposing tax or revenue. By the time Mir Jafar died in 1765, the mood of the company had changed. Having failed to work with the puppet nawabs, puppet, as I mentioned you, who goes up and down according to the person. At that time, Robert Clive declared entire thing. We must indeed become nawabs ourselves. Other than keeping these nawabs, it's better that administration should be done by us and we should make ourselves nawabs. Finally, in 1765, the Mughal emperor appointed the company as the Diwan of the provinces of Bengal. So what they were dreaming, they got it. So the British got the Diwani right of entire Bengal by the Mughal rulers. The Diwani allowed the company to use the vast revenue resource of Bengal. This solved a major problem that the company had earlier were faced, and this was the problem which they were getting from Siraj-ud-Dowla also. But getting the whole soul right by the Mughal emperor after 1765, this solved a major problems that the company had earlier. So it is to be said that this was because of this time Britain had no good to sell in India, and they did not have anything to sell. The outflow of the gold from Britain slowed after the Battle of Plassey and entirely stopped after the exemptions of Diwani. So entire the land grant, they got a Diwani rights, as you know that, and the expenses also. This revenue could be used to purchase cotton and the silk textiles in India, to maintain the company troops, and to meet the cost of the buildings of companies, fort, and offices at Calcutta. The massive money made them to control the entire Bengal. Later on, company officials also became nawabs, and their nawabis were caught very soon when they started taking the wealth to their own country. It says to be that after the Battle of Plassey, the actual nawabs of Bengal were forced to give land and vast sums of money as a personal gifts to the company officials. Robert Clive himself amassed a fortunes of money in India. He had came to Madras, now which is called today Chennai, in 1743, and when he returned back to England in 1767, he was having around 40,102 pounds, which is the currency of Britain. Means you can say that more than 401,000 pounds, that most amount of money he was assuming. Interestingly, when he was appointed governor of Bengal in 1764, he was asked to remove the corruption in company administration, but was cross-examined when he returned back to England by the Parliament in 1772 by the British Parliament. And due to this suspicious of his vast wealth, but as he did a lot in acquiring the land of India and expanding the British territory, the British Parliament at last acquitted him. He was in humiliation, which later on Robert Clive committed suicide. He cannot take such blames on his head, so he died in 1774.